Hello, friends. So good to be with you this evening. Been looking so much forward to getting with you. I wanted to talk to you about moving to the next level for your life. I think that's going to be very important. Just wanted to share with you a couple of principles that have to do with moving to the next level, because it's very easy to get caught in kind of a loop of a routine of what we do, almost a rut. Well, I heard one guy say one time, he said, a rut was very much like a grave with both ends kicked out. Well, that's a rut, and it's something that you have to make the decision to see beyond where you're going. Otherwise, you'll get yourself caught in this routine that you can't get out of. I had given the illustration back to you some time ago, but let me just please repeat this. In golf, there is such a thing as muscle memory. Now, that can be very good, but it can also be very bad, because unfortunately what we do is when we really don't understand the game, or we don't understand how to swing, or basically what the posture is or whatever to get the best effect, we develop what we call bad habits. And the problem with that is that you swing enough times and it gets to where you just kind of get into a groove. You begin to develop this muscle memory. And it takes some serious work, some counsel. I have gotten such an incredible lesson from golf as the fact that I understand that you can't, sometimes you can't just change what you do. You have to have someone else look at your swing, because you don't know what you're doing wrong. You've done it for so long, and you can't see what you're doing, and it's the details that's in the middle of it that causes the ball to go to the right or to the left or whatever. And many times we can't see what we're doing, and you literally have to have someone else look at your swing. And I think that's such a life lesson there, is the fact that you have to have other people look at your swing sometimes to say, dude, I'm just telling you, you're doing this wrong. My father, when I first started many years ago, he told me, he said, son, always be open to constructive criticism, not destructive, but constructive. Sometimes you have to open yourself up and be transparent for people to say, this is what you're doing wrong. And not to have not to have to where you get your feelings hurt. You have to make up in your mind, this is for my good. This is constructive criticism. And if you're going to move out of the routine that you're in right now to the next level, you're going to have to trust somebody's word. Somebody's going to have to say, that looks bad. It just does. You know, I as a matter of fact, let me just ask you a question. When is the last time that you actually went to somebody, sat down with your stuff, what you were doing, whether it be your finances, whether it be your things that you do on the internet, whether it be your relationships, whatever the case is, and say, tell me what I'm doing. Is this good? Is it bad? You know, I need to know. I have a friend, Thomas Harrison. He is up in northern Oklahoma, and he has had at one time in the past the most unique business and ministry set up, and it was kind of like they did this for churches, and they were secret shoppers, and they would go into a congregation and just visit. They would go in, nobody knew who they were, they would just come, they would sit down, and then at the end of their experience, they would tell the pastor, this is what happened to me, this is what I perceived, this is what happened, this is what your bathrooms look like, this is what your greeters did, this is what they did right, this is what they did wrong, this was how I was treated, this took place when I got there, this is what took place when I left. And it's so important for you to actually sit down with somebody that can look at your life and say, hey, this is because, you know why? Because success leaves a trail, but so does failure. Success leaves a trail, so does failure. And sometimes we're failing and we don't know why. We can't see it. You need someone that you love, that you trust, to look at your swing and to tell you, Guys, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing at the top of your swing. When you come down to contact, this is what you're doing. And as you're following through, this is what you're doing. This is the position of your body. You're positioning yourself in ways that tend to failure. You're positioning yourselves in ways that tend to success. And I need that. I need that. If I'm going to go to the next level, I need someone to look at my swing, because I become so stagnant in what I'm doing, such a routine. It's familiar to me, and it's very difficult for me to go beyond the boundaries of what I'm familiar with. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever been to the place that you just say, good gracious, I'm familiar. I'm comfortable with this. I'm comfortable. As a result, you don't want to change. You ever have those pajamas that you're just comfortable in? Now, they look like heck. You don't want anybody to see you, but they're comfortable. Well, we like comfort. I don't know about you, but I like it. I enjoy comfort. And I'll sit down into something that I've just been comfortable with music. Many times we sing what we're comfortable with. As a result, we've only got 3 songs we sing. We never move beyond that. But you've got to come to the place that you are willing to step outside the boundaries of what you've known, of what you're familiar with, of what you're confident in. So it's very difficult. I think, to me, that's one of the most difficult things, is because it's hard for me to be comfortable with something that I might fail at. You understand what I'm saying? It's so easy for me to be afraid of failure. So as a result, I never open myself up to anything outside the boundaries of what I know. I know this, I can do it. I've done it 50 times. I understand I can do this. And so as a result, same song, second verse. But the problem is in 10 years, I've gone in places, I've gone in businesses, I've gone in churches, I've gone in places, and it was almost like going back in time. What they're doing makes so much sense. They don't even look to see if it's working anymore. And they can't figure why no one's coming. Nobody's buying from them. Nobody is, because of the fact that success leaves a trail. So does failure. You need to look at what you're doing. Let someone else look at what you're doing. And if you're really wanting to begin to move to the next level, sometimes you need to find what someone else is doing and copy that. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't be so prideful that you can't copy what somebody else is doing. I'm not talking about copyright what somebody else is doing, but I can see what someone else is doing. And if I can just follow in their footsteps for just a little bit, what it'll do is it'll help me find myself in that, to where suddenly now I can begin to create my own path. They were used kind of to help get me rolling. They were used to help move, get me started, get my momentum started. Once that happens, then I can kind of find my own way. So there's nothing wrong with you finding what somebody else is doing, finding what somebody else is being successful at, and doing that. You understand what I'm saying? That it's very important that you be willing and open to realize that what I'm doing, man, this just stinks. I'm getting zero response. Things aren't happening for me. I'm stagnant. There's no movement in my life. So this is very important for you to do that. And I've got a couple of things that I want to talk to you about of how to do that. First of all, I want to say, do you realize where you are? What is next level to you? Can you describe that? See, sometimes we don't even know. I mean, when I talk about next level experiences or next level business, next level relationships, what does that look like? I mean, if you had to describe it right now, sit down and write on a paper or even discuss it with somebody, how would you describe the next level for yourself? And because if you can't do that, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. I'm just telling you, you got to know what you're looking for. I was talking to someone just concerning my website. I was talking concerning some of the things that I was doing. And I said, one of the biggest questions that I can ask myself is why? Why am I doing this? Why am I going to this point? We have to answer those questions. And a lot of times we're just going through the routines and we don't know why. Well, if you don't know why, you're not going to know what's next. You're going to have to really be able to ask yourself that, because when you start getting in unfamiliar territory, you need to have those questions answered. And listen, if you're going to change, if you're going to do a next level thing, you're going to have to understand that you are going to face some unfamiliar territory. And what that means is you might face some things you're not very good at. You might face some things that you're not in the lead role, but you're in the follow role. You're in the second tier. You might be second fiddle instead of first. You're second chair instead of first chair. But that's okay. Sometimes you need to be willing to say, I need so bad to go to the next level that I'm willing to do whatever is necessary. I want to learn. I want to look at what you're doing, find out what you're doing, and say, how can I compare myself to that? Now, again, don't be so prideful that nobody can tell. Have you ever been around somebody that they know everything and you can't tell them anything? Really, you can't. And even if they came up with another idea, they're so insecure that they still have to, it's almost like they have to, well, that was my idea anyway. Well, that was me. Don't be so prideful that you can't learn. Let me just tell you, when the student shows up, everything becomes a teacher. The problem isn't the teacher. The problem is the student. I've been my entire lifetime trying to learn. I need to learn. I want to learn. My desire for wisdom and understanding. And let me just tell you something. I can learn from anything. I can learn from children. I can learn from other businessmen. I can learn. There's so many people that have gone so far that I can, I just stand with amazement and wonder at the incredible job they've done. And I want to do that. I want to go there. So what I want to do is look at what they're doing and say, how can I, even if I have to mimic it, let me just repeat this. Even if I have to, for a season, mimic what they're doing just to get me rolling, just to get me started in that direction, because it won't take me very long till I begin to find my own footing. And then I can look at them and I can say, I was mentored by what they did. I learned something from them. They taught me. They may not even know you, but I learned from them. They taught me. You need to have that kind of an attitude, because if you will never go to the next level of who you are until you're willing to become a student and learn. You don't have to know everything. So don't be so prideful. Pride, dear Lord, pride is one of the greatest enemies that you can face, because it'll shut you down from ever learning anything outside what you're willing to claim responsibility for. I learn from everything. My goodness, I have absolutely no pride in that area. If I see somebody doing something, preaching something, saying something, writing something, I'm going to learn from that. I want to learn from what they did. I want to receive from that, because it'll help me move from where I am. It'll get me out of the rut. It'll get me out of the familiarity. It'll get me out of that muscle memory to where I can begin to shape the new boundaries for my life, and then I begin to move into that next level. So let me ask you a question. What is next level for you? Can you answer that? What does that look like to you? Financially, what's the next level for you? Socially, what is the next level for you? Just in excellence. Man, I love excellence. I love to see a master craftsman. You don't see a lot of those. You know why? Because in many cases, we live by, a lot of people live by the concept, well, that's pretty good. That'll do. I was looking some time back at some of the carpentry that was done back during the 1800s, early 1900s. And these were masters. I mean, it was so ornate. It was beautiful what they would carve out and make, even for silly little things like just door handles, what doors look like, certain trimmed through their house. Beautiful. I mean, every little thing was just was carefully and wonderfully made. And that's the same also. I can see it sometimes in musicians, people who do art. When you find a master craftsman, you'll pay money to go watch them. You will. When you find a master, you just think, oh my gosh, because it's so inspiring. It's so uplifting. And I think in your situation, you have to make the decision, I'm going to press toward being, I'm going to press to the next level, and I'm going to press toward mastery. I want to be a master of my craft in some level, some way. And you have to make the decision to do that, but you can do it. So you're going to have to understand a couple of things. Number one, you're going to have to understand that you're going to be going into unfamiliar territory, which can sometimes be extremely frightening. But number two, you have to believe in yourself. Even if just because you don't understand it, just because you don't know it, doesn't mean that that you can't learn it. I mean, you can learn. I'll tell you something that I was so impressed with was YouTube. I see so many people on YouTube. I thought, you can learn how to do anything on YouTube. And I think, how many people have been so selfless that they will go on and teach a trick, teach a craft, teach something that will help you get out of your situation. I remember we were trying to change a headlight one time in a car, and it was very difficult to get to. And we went on YouTube. And I'm telling you, this guy went through great pains. He got nothing out of that. I mean, he wasn't a YouTuber, but he was just somebody who went and gave of his services. I thought, how incredible is that? I can learn from that. So just because I don't know that, that doesn't diminish me, because I can learn it. So I have to believe in myself. So first of all, understand, I'm going to go into unfamiliar territory. Number two, I want to believe in myself. Number three, you want to counsel or surround yourself with counsel of friends, people that you trust, people that can be kind of a safety net to you. And listen to them. Listen. I want to hear what they've got to say. I don't mean I'm going to take all the counsel of what everybody says, but I need some different perspectives. I'm about to make big decisions. I need to know, and then put your feet in the water. Just start where you are. You don't have to start where you're not. I'm reminded of a story of whenever in the book of Exodus, whenever Moses was in the wilderness. Let me get my Bible books all straightened out. He was in the wilderness, and God told him to go. He was going to deliver Israel. And, of course, his first thing was, well, I can't do that. There's no way I can possibly do that. But what God said to him, he said, Moses, what's in your hand? Which he said, well, it's a rod. Now, what that tells me is God never starts where you're not. He always starts where you are. He doesn't put responsibility on you with things you can't do. He starts you with things you can do. Even something as simple as a rod. That had been a stick that he leaned on, that he defended his flock with. He didn't think about it anymore, that. But when it was in the hands of God, it became something that was life-changing. It became something that really opened up the next level for his life. So you've got to be fearless and understand God's going to just use not what you don't have. He's going to use what you do have. So I really feel that some of you have been stagnant for a long time. You're stagnant in the way you dress. You're stagnant in the way you do your hair. You're stagnant. I see some people, and their clothes are so out of date. You know, sometimes you need to ask somebody, say, is this relevant? And that's, because it's important. So why is it important? You might say, well, I don't care what other people think. Of course you do. You certainly care what other people think, and you should care what other people think, because people are important. Things aren't important. People are important. The most important thing in this world is not things at all. It's people. And you care about what they think. And that's why hopefully that's why you use deodorant. It isn't just for your benefit, but it's for the benefit of those around you. I mean, you do care what people think. So I'm things that I do in my life is to leave the biggest impact. I want to have the best impact that I can have on people. So it's important that you position yourself as you're going to the next level to do these things. And it's just a few things. I've got a lot more things that you can go to my website, jerryedmon.com. And you can see a lot of things that will help you move to the next level. It's hard sometimes. You remember what they say? No pain, no gain. Well, you know what? That's true. Anytime you're going to go to the next level, it's hard for you to break through because you're so familiar and comfortable with a certain level of performance that you're not willing to release it. But you're going to have to do that. If you want to go to the next level, you're going to have to want it. You got to want it, dude. I'm just telling you, you got to want it. It's not enough for you just to stagger through life. You got to want it. Life goes to the hungry. It goes to those who want it more than they want the air that they breathe. I want this. And you may not even know what the next level looks like, but you've got the scent. You know, it's you wake up in the morning, and I may not know exactly what everything's going to be, but I got the scent. I can smell it. I can sense this. I know I'm going for this. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop for anything. So these are things that you need to know as you're going to be successful and move to the next level, okay? Well, that's what I've got for you. That's just wanted to spend a few moments with you. I want to say thank you for spending a couple of moments with me. And I'm going to ask you, please push like, push share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, okay? Well, I love you guys. I really do, and I'm so thankful. Please leave a comment, and I'll be getting back with you. I'd like an opportunity just to hear your heart, and I'll respond as best I can. But until I see you next time, I guess, I want to just say thank you. Thank you for being my friend. Your friendship is important to me. Thank you for being my friend. All right. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.